Welcome back on our show, Open Studio. Before the break, we were chatting about how to maintain our health and wellness. Mrs. Zanele Shwane, you said you are helping women to equip. You also organize people like spiritual leaders, social workers, so that they can help those women psychologically and like psychiatry, psychologically and physically.
Yes, ma'am, because you'll find some women when we have sessions, let me do an example, maybe we have a session of married ladies, and then after the session, maybe the topic was how to take care of your home or your husband or your family. But you'll find after the session, this woman will come and say, you know what, I've been going through this, and it's been years. You know, she would confess the pain that she has. She was here, she had the speaker speaking, but she's having this problem, an issue. That's when we sit down as individual with the woman and ask her questions and find out what's the problem, when did it started. You know, maybe it's an ongoing challenge, you know, maybe it's an abuse in a marriage. Then that's when we start to refer to social workers, and that woman will get help. And in maybe as a single parent, you know, you'll find that this lady, she's got a job, she's working, but she's not able to take care of the siblings or the children, you know, and the father of the baby doesn't support the child. We look at the help, how this child can be supported by the father. And we also have seminars sometimes where we talk to the mothers to allow their children to have relationships with their fathers. So we help these women, sometimes young girls. You'll find a young girl has passed matric, doesn't have, you know, matric gown to wear on the day, doesn't have shoes, doesn't have makeup, doesn't have anything. We know we go out there and look for people that will help the young girl on her matric day, and also to help her in 20, maybe in another year when she's doing her first year at the university. So that's how we do. We do spiritually, but we also look at the need of a woman and also help other people to help us, because we don't have any funding. We're just doing this, you know, willingly and without the help of with the help of the Lord.
Okay, Mrs. Shwane, you said that as you are uplifting women, there are those who are vulnerable,
Yes,
like
yes.
psychologically,
Yes,
physically,
yes,
and otherwise.
yes.
Do you maybe in your organization have like people like counselors who can see through those people, like others, they don't want to come and disclose that I've got this
Yes,
particular problem.
yes.
How do you see that they need help? They have psychological problems.
All right. How do we see it? We also have prayers, because we do prayers. We pray with them, and would find that this woman, it's more than what we see, you know. And I will go deeper and check what's the, you know, the core. What's the problem? And we do have psychologists at Women at the Well that give with their time. We also have social workers in the program that are members. They also give their time to these women. So we would make appointments if maybe it's a couple. This lady is a married lady and she's going through a rough time in her marriage. We will organize a marriage counselor that will sit with those women. So that's how I identify, because that woman, that person will come, you know, to me and say, Zanele, this is what I'm going through. I've been coming to your sessions, but I feel that I need to tell you, this is my pain and this is my problem. So that's when I look for people that can help the lady, be it a psychologist, be it a social worker, be it a psychiatrist or a counselor.
Okay. Dr. Faiz, I just get that in your institute, you mostly focus on a psychological, like psychological problems. How did you do about in concern with health and wellness?
Well, no, we don't only focus on psychological issues. What we're trying to do is merge medicine with health and wellness empowerment. So the medical side is not allopathic medicine, which is what conventional doctors practice, but root cause medicine. We try to get to the root cause of a problem. But on the other side, we empower people with health and wellness programs, you know, information. So we have certain programs that we want to take people through. And so when you're a member of the institute, you are seen by the doctor, but you also go through these programs. Now, there's mainly one, you can say there's one cause of most illness and disease, or disease and dysfunction, and that is chronic stress. And chronic stress is a killer. It really makes people sick. Now, what causes chronic stress? The things that trigger the stress response in the brain and in the body are things called stressors. So anything that the body is exposed to which triggers the stress response is called a stressor, and then once your stress response is triggered, certain things happen in your brain and body. Now that can happen, you get the acute stress response where it happens like for a very short period of time, for an hour or two. That's normal. That'll help you save your life, for example. If you're walking in the forest and you see a bear, you'll suddenly run away because that's the stress response kicking in. But if this thing happens all the time, if the stress response kicks in all the time, every day, every week, every month, month after month after month, your body is not designed for that kind of attack. And so you do get sick. So the things that trigger the stress response are physical stressors, like today there's a lot of what we call electromagnetic fields, TVs, Wi-Fi, cell phones. These are physical stressors. If you don't sleep properly, that's a physical stress on the body. If you get injured, physically injured, that's a physical stress. Then you get chemical stressors. We eat foods that contain a lot of chemicals. We're exposed to a lot of toxins. But the more common one, I would think, it's very arguable more common, I think they're all common, are the ones we're talking about, which is the emotional stressors or the psychological stressors. Now, the psychological stressors include your own thoughts. So if you're thinking a negative thought, that'll trigger the stress response. And people make themselves really sick by worrying all the time. Okay, so if you're worrying every day about whatever, whether it's money or your job or whatever, you're going to get sick eventually. But then you have other stressors called cellular memories and beliefs, okay? So cellular memories come from various things. You can inherit these memories from previous generations. You can be born with these memories. You can, when you're a child, you get these childhood memories from about 0 to 6 years of age. When you have certain experiences, these experiences are just downloaded into your subconscious mind because you don't have any filter to filter them out. You don't have a cognitive mind that's working properly. And then you have traumatic experiences as you go through life, whether it's abuse in a marriage or a car accident or whatever. Those produce memories in your body, in the cells of your body, and then you get beliefs associated with these memories. And then those beliefs, when you're exposed to certain situations which look very similar to those previous traumatic situations, the stress response is triggered. So if this happens all the time, you're going to get sick, without a doubt. You will get sick. And so it's important to identify your negative thinking and to identify these subconscious stressors, the beliefs that you hold, the memories, the traumatic, the cellular memories, and then clear them out of your system. Because once they're cleared out of your system or they're neutralized, because these are energy frequencies, and the chaotic frequencies causing the stress response to be triggered. And if you don't balance these frequencies or neutralize them, then you will not get well. And there's brilliant tools available to actually help people neutralize these negative frequencies coming from these memories and beliefs that you hold, which are not working for you. There's another belief system, but we won't talk about that now. But the psychological stressors are the ones we're talking about today, which need to be dealt with at a proper level, actually. And energy psychology is brilliant, brainwave entrainment, brilliant ways to actually neutralize these frequencies. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. I would like to thank our guests for coming on our show, Open Studio. Also, thanks our viewers.